Hi, I think I'm live. Hi b.nourishd crew. If I am live, this is my first time, so please excuse my nervousness or not looking in the correct direction of the camera. But if you can see me, do comment in the section below just so I know that you're there and I don't feel like I'm just talking out to the ether. If you happen to see this actually a recording of this, still feel free to comment. Let me see if anyone's joining us. Okay, so being my first live chat, I really wanted to hone in on low carbohydrate diet or what we can call low carb, high fat or high good fat diet. It's all the rage. In my clinic, I see quite a few people who have chronic issues, as you may have seen me post within the group. And I find that this type of lifestyle and diet's really, really helpful. So in today's live video, I want to focus on really the top 3 key benefits to a low carb, high fat diet, as well as my top 3 tips to get started. It's really easy and let's get right into it. But to introduce myself formally, I'm Tanya, Doctor of Chinese Medicine. I have been practicing for nearly 20 years, and I'm inspired by all of your comments and all of your the things that you want help with. So let's get into this first video. My first top benefit of a low carb, high fat diet is being able to really reduce the amount of blood sugar and insulin levels within our body. Why is this important? Oh, hi Rob, I've just seen you've dropped in. Why is this important? Well, insulin and sugar really create a lot of chronic issues, as I mentioned, that I see in the clinic. Really the top things that a high blood sugar level will do to our body is create chronic illnesses such as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. They've even linked in certain studies high sugar in our blood to things like dementia, Alzheimer's. So a lot of inflammatory diseases. I have a lot of patients that come into the clinic that really struggle with things like irritable bowel syndrome and a lot of food sensitivities. So one of the key benefits to a low carb, high fat diet is it reduces that sugar level, insulin level really quickly. I will make a note here for anybody who is diabetic. If you do choose to go on a low carb diet, low carb / high fat diet, please consult with your doctor. It's really important you're monitored, particularly if you're on medications such as insulin, because this type of diet will drop your blood sugar quickly and they will need to monitor and really adjust your medication. So I want to make sure you're safe and that you're enjoying the benefits. The second great thing that I find with this type of lifestyle, guys, is that it really crushes or curbs cravings and really helps with appetite suppression, which I find is usually the biggest barrier to either wanting to lose weight or really transform our health. So really making sure that we can really just get on top of the cravings, particularly sugar cravings, in the early days of really changing your lifestyle and diet is really super important. Hi Susie, welcome. Another great benefit to a low carb diet is just being able to have the energy we need to get through the day. So I tend to find the first 3 days of any dietary change can be a bit tough. And I've noticed that within the group that, you know, people can struggle in the first 3 days with things like headaches or just feel quite fatigued. That's quite normal with any diet change. But when we're taking away things like, you know, sugars in our body through carbohydrates, you can feel even more tired. Push through it, guys. It does pass. You know, really do drink a lot of water and really consume foods that are higher in good fats. That will help. But one of the biggest benefits I personally found when I started this type of way eating, aside from weight loss and clearer skin, was the energy factor. You know, having a young family, I was just exhausted, as a lot of you on right now have got young children. So I found that after that first 3 to 4 days of feeling a bit funny, that it was actually quite, my energy level just skyrocketed. In fact, I felt like I was able to sort of go through the day without feeling lethargic at around that 3 to 4 o'clock mark, coincidentally when I pick up my kids. But I found that my energy levels were more sustained, so I didn't have those really high peaks and troughs that I was getting when I was eating, higher sugars within my diet. Who else have we got hanging here? Susie, Beck. Hi, Beck. Sydney. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining. So my real top 3 tips to really get started on a low carb diet. The first thing is the simpler you guys keep it, the better. There's lots of information about ketogenic diet or low carb diets, recipes. There's a lot of information. What I tell my patients in the clinic is just to keep it really simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. We've got enough to do through our day that we want to keep it simple. So my biggest first top tip, guys, is just keep it really simple. Keep it to 3 meals a day. Try and really start to cut out those snacks in between, and as we go along with more and more videos, I'll start to give you the support you need to not feel hungry and to feel like 3 meals is ample. So that's my first tip. Within those meals, the way I'd structure it very simplistically is that if you've got your dinner plate in front of you, that really keep about 60 to 70% of your plate of food with really healthy, good fats and proteins. Particularly, for example, and I will have, once I finish the live stream, I'll just upload a guide for you guys to look at that's got sort of a list of foods and a bit of a recipe book. But if you just really adding 70% of your plate with really fresh, good fats, avocado, really good sources of meat protein if you eat meat, just getting those essential fats onto your plate really helps. 25% of your plate really should have above ground vegetables. Definitely get your green veggies in, guys. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even count green veggies and be obsessed with counting how many carbs are in there. Just eat as many as you need. It's got all those macronutrients that we need to fuel our body and to really get through particularly the first stages of changing our diet from a sugar carbohydrate based diet to a lower carb diet. Also really limiting the amount of carbohydrates we're having. When we talk about carbs, people get really confused. They're like, well, what do you mean? The hardest thing to cut out initially, guys, is really things that we're just convenience foods. So if you look at the foods we're eating, if anything's coming out of a packet, I can assure you that it's full of sugar, full of carbs. So really try and stick to just fresh foods, above ground veggies like cauliflower, zucchini, bok choy, again, all your green veggies. I do like to add a bit of color to my plate, with things like capsicum, red capsicum and carrots and all that type of thing. They can be higher in sugar, but I tend to find if you add like even half a cup of that type of thing, it's usually not a problem. All right, top tip. Who else is joining us? Christopher. Hello, Christopher. Top tip. So if you're really reducing your diet down from snacking all day or not eating all day and then being starving and just ravenous and eating, different times of the day, the second tip I give my patients is this. If you're now moving to a different lifestyle of eating and you're finding it a bit challenging because you're used to eating larger meals, you're used to eating whenever you feel like it, one of the biggest issues is really just sticking to 3 meals a day. What I would advise you guys to do or to try, and again, it really worked for me in the beginning of changing my lifestyle, is to have really high, good quality fat snacks on hand. So there's a couple of things I've found even in our local supermarket that really work well. For example, you can get hold of things like a good avocado dip and just keep that in the fridge. There's a really nice, I believe it's the Yummy brand. Excuse me, Yumi, if I'm saying that wrong. that is really good. They've got an olive dip. I think they've got 2 olive dips, really low in sugars and carbs, really great and high fat. Have some of that in the fridge with celery, and just munch on that if you're hungry in between those meals in the early days. Other things I love are raw nuts. I did put a post up on the site about what nuts, not all nuts are equal. So really stick to those lower carbohydrate nuts. They'll help to suppress and keep you from being hungry. So I personally love raw macadamia nuts. Pecans are really good. I believe it was Brazil nuts are really good. Almonds usually are people's go-to. They do have a lot more carbs than say something like macadamia. So if you're having things like almonds, just make sure you're not overkilling it. 20 to 30 grams is fine. My last tip, and this is one that's really not related to food actually. So I'm not going to really sort of give you tips on what to eat in this one, but this is something that I found is really helpful. And I say this to my patients a lot. Don't overthink it. Get in there, make some changes. It's really about just giving new things a go and understanding and experiencing how it makes your body feel. I do believe we've really lost touch over the years with how we feel. So if you're eating something and it doesn't feel good, whether it be avocado or whether it be, cheese or whatever it is, if it's not sitting well with your tummy, if you're feeling bloated or you're feeling exhausted or it's not fitting well with you, I would advise just eliminating that. But the simplest way around changing lifestyle, whether it become with food or exercise, is really just to decide to do it and not overthinking it and not beating yourself up if you quote unquote fall off the wagon. We all do it. I had a patient recently come to me and in the clinic, and she was really upset. She'd been to a function and she'd had a piece of wedding cake. And I will tell you guys exactly what I told her, which is this. Really, it's a journey, it's a process, and there's not good or bad. It's just, it is what it is. So I said to her that I would much prefer her to have had that cake, to have had that, sugar, carbohydrate, providing she was at a function, she was happy, she was having a great time, she was enjoying it with her family and friends. I would much prefer her to have done that than to have, limited herself and been upset with herself for that and felt isolated from her function. Of course, when I work with people with really, really chronic issues that are trying to achieve goals very quickly, there is, to some degree, we do need to be a bit stricter and mindful. But if you have a cake or if you have a piece of pizza or if you have something that you feel you shouldn't have done, it's done, it's dusted, just move on. And this is why I've created this group, to really get that support and get the conversation going surrounding lifestyle and diet and food. And I'm just having a look. Hi, Stella. How Harry's on. Hello, Harry. Just really getting the process started. Before I end with this tip, there's something that I would love you guys to do, and I'd love your comments and feedback on how you feel about this. But in the early days of changing my lifestyle and diet, and really having to work out, where my patients were struggling and trying to give them the advice they needed and the support, I worked out really quickly that we all are creatures of habit, and there's certain things we do. And what I would really love you guys to do in the next couple of days, and please get back to me and comment, is my pattern of behavior, for example, is surrounding food was, I was fine through the day. So I'd go about my day, I'd have my 3 meals. I was very conscious of what I was eating. I was fine. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't craving any food. But the moment a certain period of time at night would come, all of a sudden I'd be in front of my favorite show. The family would be there, I'd be relaxed, and all of a sudden I'd want to eat, reach for those snacks, reach for those bag of chips. And I come to realize, guys, it wasn't that I was hungry. It wasn't that I was doing something wrong. It just was that it was a habit. So if that's happening with you, if there's a certain time of day or a certain food that you keep going back to, or if stress or anxiety or boredom or anything is really challenging your new lifestyle or dietary goals, what I'd recommend is this: just really observing what those habits are, what is stopping you from achieving what you want with your health, and being prepared, being armed with the right, as I mentioned before, the right types of snacks in your fridge, in your cupboard. And I'm going to upload as many healthy snacks as I can to arm you with those tools. Have them there. Of course, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have any of those snacks at night. We'd be all, 3 meals and everything's perfect. But as we know, life isn't perfect. When you come to your sitting down, for example, like I did in front of the TV, instead of reaching out for the bag of chips, grab the dip, grab your, low carb cookies that I've uploaded on the recipe site, which is delicious, and use that until you get to a point where you're motivated enough and you're strong enough in yourself to go, you know what, I really don't actually want it. But in the beginning, sometimes it's tough to make these radical changes really quickly. So don't feel bad if you reach out for some of these snacks or tools. It's fine. I think that's better than grabbing a bag of chips. So guys, there I go with my first live stream. I can see people are still on. Hello everyone. Please comment down below on what you'd actually like to hear. I'm open to talking about anything health and wellness, not just weight loss. I tend to find weight loss is a really hot topic, and of course this is where I've started, but there's all sorts of things that I'd love to discuss and help you guys with and support you along your journey. This is why I've created this site. So you guys are my inspiration. So do please leave me a comment. What do you want to hear about? I'm going to get on as much as possible and do these live streams. I think they're really helpful just as a vehicle and tool for us to communicate. Any questions, feel free to pop them up now and I'll have a look and try and answer anything that comes up on my screen. Let's have a look. Any questions, guys? Just having a look. Hi, Arzu. No. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once this is broadcast officially, I'm going to once again upload the low carb recipe book that we've got on file, just again for reference under this post, as well as the Get Started guide. And I look forward to hearing all your comments and feedback, and thank you for being patient with me. It is quite nerve-wracking speaking to a camera. So I hope I haven't sped through the process too much, and I really do look forward to our next live stream. And someone has asked a question. Let me have a look. Rob, you eat popcorn. So Rob's asking, so he eats popcorn at night, is this good? First thing I'll say, let's not say good or bad. So Rob, you're not bad, but there are better alternatives. First and foremost, corn, to be honest, hasn't got much nutritional value. It is higher in carbohydrates. And again, like I mentioned with tip 3, it really becomes a habit. So popcorn's one of those things that you feel like you can keep dipping into, and that's why I think we go to that type of snack like chips. So I will dig out and put up for you, Rob, another alternate recipe in regards to things like I've made kale chips, which are delicious, zucchini chips, and you could maybe snack on those, Rob, instead of popcorn. They're really easy to make. You can keep them in a container, airtight container. So I'll put that up for you, Rob. So that helps. So just swap it out. For now, if you're gonna watch a movie and you want something, you can reach for that instead of having popcorn. Hi, Asta. Your go-to are macadamia nuts. Me too. I love macadamia nuts. I tend to go raw macadamias, like without salt, like unsalted, but I must be honest, lately I've been craving salt, so I do go the salted version. Kale chips are yummy, Asta. Yeah, they are really easy to make. Off the top of my head, what I do with something like kale chips, correct me if I'm wrong, Asta, I just get a bunch of kale, take off the leaves, give them a bit of a wash, dry them really well. I put them on a tray with like parchment paper, non-stick paper. I put on some, I actually spray on some coconut oil, bit of sea salt, put them in a 180 degree oven for about, I think 10-15 minutes. Delicious. Not sure if my hubby likes them, but I think they're delicious. Even the kids have eaten them, so that's a good one. Any other ideas for good low carb snacks, guys, for Rob? How do you feel about eating kale chips, Rob? Perfect. Good. Thanks, Asta. Okay. Well, guys, keep commenting. I'm going to end this live stream. Let me know, give me some feedback, give me some of your top tips for low carb, anything to help us all really stick on a healthy journey so we can keep our blood sugar levels down, keep inflammation in the body down, continue on our weight loss journeys, continue on our transformations, and together we will all improve and transform as a group. Signing out, see you for the next episode. In the meantime, I look forward to chatting with you guys in the group. If you want to get to me, you can email me, chat to me through the group. I do have a link that I have popped up called Ask the Doctor, which is more an email based. If you obviously want to ask me a question directly, I would love nothing more than to try and help you. So take care. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again shortly. Bye.